Hi, I'm Lisa of Lisa Grace Wigs, and today I just wanted to show you how I straighten my wigs now. This has definitely changed over the years since I've been wearing wigs. And what happened was, once Grace went to cosmetology school, she pretty much taught me what she feels is the proper way to straighten hair. The reason I always straighten my wigs before I style or curl them is because I prefer a very low density look. So if you tend to like a more voluminous look to your wig, you might not want to straighten it first. Oh, what is it? What's wrong with you? So this is a low blood sugar alert from Cooper, my 9-year-old diabetes alert service dog. This may be a day of interruption. I'm gonna have to check my blood sugar, and he is right. I am 109, but my arrow is... You're right, you're right. He is right. I have had an atrocious blood sugar day today after my pump site went bad in the middle of the night. It actually abscessed where the cannula is in my skin, giving me insulin. So it's been a very rough day. I'm definitely not 100% today. You're right, you're right. Okay, I gotta go get him a treat. Okay, come on, you're right. You're right, Cooper. Yeah, the dog is right. I'm 100 with an arrow going down, which means I am going low. Awesome. The dog's nose always knows. Okay, where was I? Straightening wigs. The tools that I use are a rat tail comb, a metal comb, and these I just got off of Amazon, and various types of hair clips. My favorite are the Framar brand for the alligator clips, but these little clips, we actually use just whatever's like cheap and has good reviews on Amazon. And this is Grace's magical weapon. So what's funny was, before I was just taking a section and just putting my straightener through it. But once Grace taught me to use a metal comb with your straightener, and it helps it just straighten seamlessly. It's amazing. So what I did in the past is I would just take a section, run my straightener through it. Now I take a section, I put the comb in, I put the straightener up, and I use the comb to pull down. It just makes it perfectly straightened. This is my preferred straightener that I've been using for, I think, a couple of years now. It's the longer barrel version of the Lange, I don't know how to say it. Lange, potato, tomato, tomato. If anyone knows how to pronounce this, let me know. And I love this straightener. It does have a fan that you can use if you want to cool the hair as you straighten. And I do usually use that, but I'm not going to today on video because it's really loud. Yeah, a little bit loud. One of my other favorite tools is, I love these silicone mats, and I use these to keep my tools on when I'm using them. And those I just get like the cheapest one on Amazon that I can find. This has been freshly washed. The only thing I did put on it was a little bit of acidic Color Gloss heat protectant hair spray and a few squirts of the Color Fanatic Pureology 21 when it was wet. And I have my K18 oil out because after I straighten it, I do like to put a couple drops of K18 oil on it. This stuff is like liquid gold, so you really only need a few drops. On a very long wig, I do 4 drops. So on a short wig, I'm only gonna do like 2 drops. I don't wanna weigh it down with oil. And that's only from the ears down. I don't put it anywhere near the knots or the lace top area. And this is also about a 3-year-old wig. The hair is still nice and silky, and I deep condition it when it needs it. And I actually redid all the rooting. There was some big blank spots in the rooting. I'll add a picture of that now to show you because I've never seen anything like it before, and I did buy this used. It was extremely inexpensive, and I've loved this wig for my shorty. And the rooting color underneath, it's not perfect, but again, this was me formulating on my own. I didn't even ask Grace for advice, I just did it. So I start with just little sections with like a few rows each. You can really see just how it just perfectly straightens with the comb. When Grace straightens, she does like these little flips and stuff in the hair. I just straighten mine. The best thing when you have holes in your jeans is to use it as a clip holder. As I go further up, I like to start doing the hair in side section, and that's because I'm trying to aim it back away from the front because I don't like hair in my face. My favorite part is doing this top layer because I'm almost done. The other things that I've done to this wig, when it first came, it was extremely brassy and the root was very, very washed out. And the rooting was like a major corrective coloring. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but I feel like it came out okay. I'm starting to see a tiny bit of fade in the very front and I'm gonna have to touch that up, but I don't feel like doing it yet. And again, just starting at that front as close as possible and pulling back as I go. I really need to pin this on. Admittedly, I'm being a little lazy, so let's pin this on. I pin down by the ears, and usually I also pin right down at the nape of the neck, but I'm already done with that area, so I'm just gonna leave it. Of course, there's many different ways to straighten hair. This is just what I find works for me. I retoned the entire thing a more neutral blonde, which the toner actually came out really pretty and it hasn't faded or anything. I've worn it and washed it quite a bit. But the rooting for sure was the biggest challenge with this wig. But I think it came out okay, all things considered. That's one thing that definitely took me years to figure out about wigs in my own journey, is that most of them do need to be customized in some way for you. Definitely looks much lower density at this point, just from that straightening. The hair feels a lot silkier than it did. So now I'm going to show you what I do to get it even a little bit more off of the face. And then I like to give it just a little curl. I find that anything that has a lot of layering, personally, I like it a little bit better with just a little curl in it. This is my favorite curling iron. It's a Bioionic 1.5-inch barrel. And even though this is a short wig, I just prefer kind of bigger, looser, beachy looking curls. I've had this for I think about a year now and I loved it at first. I still am pretty happy with it, but my only pet peeve is sometimes you might get a couple hairs stuck in the base of it where the heating part meets the handle, and I don't love that. That is driving me nuts. So I am kind of on the hunt for a new brand to try of a 1.5-inch barrel curling iron. And I use my heat on 280, sometimes 300. I try not to go over 300 with my wig. So what I do to get the hair back off the face a little bit is I take the curling iron when it's warm and just rub it a tiny bit on the front. And that will help it just lay back a little bit. And I kind of go back and forth. I'll do kind of an upper level and then I'll do a lower level, same thing. And again, I'm not a cosmetologist. This is just how I figured out what works for me, and I like that really low density look, so I kind of pull down as I pull out. There are definitely some ways to curl that you can give your hair a ton of volume if you like volume. Grace can make them just crazy voluminous, but for me, this is just what I prefer. I like the long beachy wave look. The other thing I don't like about this one, my fat fingers always end up hitting the temperature up button, inevitably while I'm using it, and that drives me nuts. So now she's done, I'm gonna apply just a couple drops of the K18 oil, otherwise known as liquid gold. I wait about 15 minutes and let the curls cool down before I do any brushing out. The only thing I brush my wigs out with is a very wide tooth comb. So I just give it a little brush. So I will show you what it looks like on now. This is it, just all done, little tiny, easy, beachy curls. And this is how I prefer to wear my shorties. I get my scar tape on Amazon and I find it makes an enormous difference in how the lace top scalps look. To me, it makes them look more like a silk top. Those little color spots you see, those are actually where rooting has hit the lace top and left like a stain. Again, I bought this used. It was a few years old and it was cheap, worked for what I've needed it for, and I don't mind the little flaws. I use alligator scissors to cut my scar tape. So what I do is I hold it in my hand, I kind of find the part and keep my thumb on it. And then I put the scar tape just a little bit and then I just press it down. Now I do not remove this scar tape until the next time I wash it, and I let it just naturally fall off in the wash. The reason is because scar tape, since it's sticky, it can actually pull the knots and pull the hairs through the cap if I were to just pull it off. This is how it looks just with some scar tape on. I know my part is not perfect there. I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but there's definitely some shininess to the scar tape. What I do to take that shine away is I just use translucent powder. I take my translucent powder and just tap, tap, tap all along the part line. You can absolutely use a smaller brush. I don't really worry about it much, so I just use a bigger brush, and then it's much more matte looking. And this is with the scar tape on. So I guess that's it. This is just how I like to wear my shorties. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Thanks so much for watching and have a beautiful week.